Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel, tap the notification bell, and like this video. That helps me to keep making videos. I'd appreciate it majorly. Alright, so this dude here, his name's John Baldock, former Oxford University student, was sunbathing on Sunday behind his apartment. I think there's a little tiny lawn area where you can, enjoy yourself outside, whatever, in a part of South London. Clapham is the small town, and a body fell out of the sky from about 3,500 feet, 3,500 feet from an airplane that was flying over above, and landed literally, according to him, and according to all reports, like within 3 feet of him, 1 meter, and just slammed into the ground. The person who fell out of the sky obviously died and probably was dead, in the sky when he fell out of the airplane. I think it was Kenya Airlines, I believe, is the name of the airline. They believed probably he was a stowaway. He had climbed into the landing gear, possibly. They found items in there after they searched it after this incident. And there's several photographs. Right there is where he landed. Literally putting a humongous dent into the ground and smashing the sidewalk there. I think they had removed part of the sidewalk after the incident. But had he hit this guy, he would have been killed. And neighbors reported a humongous loud bang. He was visibly completely shaken, couldn't even speak, shaking profusely because of just the absolute shock of what happened. It's just so remarkable. I was reading through this, very curious who the person is that fell out of the sky. They have not identified that individual. It was, like I said, it was Kenya Airlines. I'm sure it'll be in this report. It was flying from Kenya, I think Jomo International Airport, to London. A rather long flight, I believe, and it was basically at the tail end of that flight. I think it left at 9:10 or something a.m. local time. I don't know if that's London time or whatever. I don't know if Kenya and London have different times. And then arrived in London around 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon. And this happened at like 3:20 p.m. So basically, it was approaching, I guess, Heathrow International Airport in London. Is Heathrow or is that Chicago? I don't know. No, it's Heathrow. Heathrow's London. Chicago's O'Hara. What am I thinking? Anyway, so it was flying into London, at the tail end of its thing. I don't know. I don't believe its landing gear had opened. You know what? There's a video. Actually, it is. It is. Wow. So the landing gear had opened. He must be lived really close to the airport, maybe right next to it. I'm suspecting so. I'll play that video. Hopefully, it'll play for me. But that's the actual airplane that was flying. Is filmed moments after it happened. I don't know if that's an amateur, looks like somebody's amateur video of it. And I don't know if they knew that somebody had fallen out of the plane. There's no video of an individual falling out of the plane or falling onto the ground. Obviously the person, there was blood everywhere, and basically, I don't even know what happens to a body at that stage. Falling from 3,500 feet, you would think the body would just almost practically explode. Wouldn't even be recognizable. Definitely, but as a human being, you would think. But I don't know. Look what it did to the ground there. So, as quickly as possible, the sunbather who narrowly avoided death was when a frozen stowaway migrant fell 3,500 feet from a plane and landed just 3 feet from him in his garden. Is an Oxford graduate, software engineer, John Baldock, who has a master's degree in engineering from Oxford University, was in the garden of the $2.3 million home where he lives in Clapham, South London, when the body of a man plummeted from Kenya Airways jet. The corpse fell to the ground as the 9-hour flight from Nairobi approached London Heathrow Airport and opened its landing gear on Sunday afternoon. The body landed partly on concrete paving slabs and on AstroTurf lawn, leaving a massive crater in the garden, which is 13 miles east of Heathrow. Shocked neighbors said it was a miracle no one on the ground died, as hundreds of people were enjoying the weather on Clapham Commons, just a short distance away. Neighbors said Mr. Renwick was very shaken by the incident, and there was blood all over the walls of the garden. When the plane landed at Heathrow shortly after, a bag, water, and food were discovered in the landing gear compartment. I don't know who Mr. Renwick is, because his name is Baldock. Maybe Mr. Renwick may be the owner of the apartment who he's friends with, who's pictured in this article as well. Here's the plane flying by. So let me continue. A male neighbor said of Mr. Renwick he was very shaken. He had been sunbathing and he landed 1 meter away from him. I don't know. He must be Mr. Renwick too, but they're calling him John Baldock there. I don't know why. Locals in leafy Overton Road told the horrific scene that greeted them after they heard a whomp sound shortly after 3:30 p.m. on Sunday. One female neighbor told Mail Online, "There was an almighty bang. At first I thought it was some scaffolding falling down and thought nothing more about it. My husband decided to see what was going on and went upstairs to take a look. He was obviously quite shocked and went out to the street where my neighbor was standing on the phone to the police. He was really shaken. He had been in the garden when it happened, and the body must have landed so close to where he was. My husband came back in, and I asked him what was going on, and he said, 'Haven't you seen the man who fell from the sky?' I wondered what he was talking about and went up to see for myself, and there in the middle of the lawn was a body of a man." The male neighbor, who asked not to be named, added, "I heard a whomp. I went upstairs to look out the window. At first I thought it was a tramp asleep in the garden." Crazy. So he had all of his clothes on and everything. I had a closer look and saw there was blood all over the walls of the garden. His head was not in a good way. I realized immediately that he had fallen, so I went outside, and it was just then the neighbor came out, and he was very shaken. He said a plane spotter who had been tracking the flight saw the body fall and rushed to the scene. Police arrived within minutes and identified flight KQ-100 as the plane the man fell from. Flight data shows the Boeing 787 passed over Overton Road at 3:36 p.m. on Sunday at about 3,575 feet and traveling at nearly 200 miles an hour. It left Jomo Kenyatta International Airport at 9:19 a.m. local time and arrived 3:42 p.m. Airline officials said a bag, water, and a stash of food were found in the plane's landing gear after a subsequent search. The corpse, which was wearing blue t-shirt and jeans, remained at the scene for 5 hours before being taken away by the coroner's office. Mr. Baldock, who is originally from Exeter, Devon, is a tenant at the Mid-Terrace property. The home is owned by Bob Renwick. So Mr. Renwick is the owner. That individual right there. The property in Clapham is owned by software engineer Bob Renwick. Okay, so the house in Overton was bought for $2.3 million. Whatever. It is situated 300 yards from Clapham Common, which was packed with sun seekers on Sunday afternoon. Leading residents to say the tragedy could have been much worse. However, the sunbathing tenant, Mr. Renwick, was sleeping in the gardens as the body crashed to the earth. So maybe it's the other way around. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. So, was sleeping in the gardens as the body crashed to the earth. Mr. Renwick's friend, who was inside the house at the time, said it was a miracle the impact did not kill anyone on the ground. He told the Sun he didn't even realize what it was to begin with. He was asleep, and then there was a huge impact. The body literally landed 1 meter away from him and was obliterated. My friend was very shaken. There was a few of us in the house at the time, and it was lucky only one of us was in the garden. Nobody would have survived being hit. The impact was horrific. The tenant's brother said there was a lot of blood at the scene. Crazy. So, narrowly avoided frozen death. So they just confused those two. It's not real clear which one it fell next to. At first they're saying it was him, and then and I believe it is. Because over at the Sun, that's what they're reporting. And I believe the other guy was the owner, Mr. Renwick, I believe. So that's the story there. Madness, total madness. But we don't know who the individual was. I assume it's somebody from Kenya, but trying to get to London on that plane. Maybe a migrant, All right, that's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I will see you in the next video. Later, man.